Translations, versions, and conflicting interpretations, is the Bible itself true and reliable? And while it claims to have divine authority, unlike any other book on this planet, can the Bible really back up that claim? In other words, is the Bible true just because it claims to be true? Here are 7 powerful reasons why you can absolutely trust the Bible. Number 1. The Bible is the world's #1 bestseller, the most read and the most widely distributed book of all time. According to Guinness World Records, the Bible is the best-selling book of all time with over 5 billion copies sold and distributed worldwide. The Little Red Book, quotations from Chairman Mao Zedong, comes in second place with 820 million copies sold. And Harry Potter comes in third with 400 million copies sold. According to United Bible Societies, they have translated the complete Bible into the languages of more than half of the world's population. That's almost 700 languages in all. YouVersion, the online Bible app for tablets and smartphones, is offered in 2,062 versions in 1,372 languages. Number 2. The Bible is the most influential book of all time. According to surveys by the Folio Society, the Library of Congress, and Book of the Month Club, the Bible is the most influential book in the world. Is it a mere coincidence that many surveys also show that the most influential person in history is Jesus Christ, or Yeshua the Messiah? Number 3. The Bible has been praised by world leaders and some of the most influential people. George Washington, the first president of the United States, said, "It is impossible to rightly govern the world without God and the Bible." Abraham Lincoln, the 16th U.S. president, said, "I believe the Bible is the best book God has ever given to man. All the good from the Savior of the world is communicated to us through this book." Finally, Theodore Roosevelt, another famous American president, said, "A thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education." Number 4. The Bible, when correctly translated, interpreted, and understood, has never been proven to be in error in any statement that it makes. Let's briefly look at some proofs from astronomy, archaeology, science, and Bible prophecy. First, proofs from astronomy. During the Middle Ages, also known as the Dark Ages, both reason and knowledge of the Bible was suppressed, and misguided church leaders believed and taught that the earth was flat. Yet, the biblical prophet Isaiah correctly understood that the earth was round, a sphere. Notice Isaiah chapter 40, verse 22. "It is He, God or Yahweh, who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in." Here is another advanced scientific statement from the oldest book in the Bible. Job chapter 26, verse 7. "He stretches out the north over empty space. He hangs the earth on nothing." This was written thousands of years before astronomer and physicist Isaac Newton discovered the invisible laws of gravity that showed that the earth is truly suspended on nothing. Second, proofs from archaeology. Sir William Ramsay, an English historian, was at one time very skeptical of the historicity of Luke, the writer of the book of Acts, and he set out to disprove it. But after many years of studying the historical and archaeological evidence, Ramsay concluded that Luke indeed wrote the book of Acts in the 1st century, during the time of the apostles. Far from being an historical fraud, he said that there are, quote, reasons for placing the author of Acts among the historians of the first rank. Unquote. Some critical scholars have also questioned the existence of the biblical patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, until they clearly saw the archaeological evidence. Genesis 37 verse 28 says that Joseph's brothers sold him as a slave for 20 shekels of silver. Clay tablets discovered in the region dating to the 18th and 19th centuries BC, the time in which Joseph lived, show that the going price for slaves at that time was indeed 20 shekels of silver. There are more amazing proofs like this, such that archaeologist Nelson Glueck once said, quote, "It may be stated categorically that no archaeological discovery has ever refuted or contradicted a biblical reference." Unquote. Third, proofs from science. Today, many people believe that cohabitation or a live-in relationship is a more physically pleasurable and emotionally satisfying choice than marriage. Yet, the scientific studies show otherwise. Here's the conclusion of a study done by the co-authors of the book, A Case for Marriage. Quote, "People who are cohabiting are less happy generally than the married and are less satisfied with their sex lives." Another systematic study found, quote, "higher reported levels of emotional and physical pleasure for married people than for cohabiting or single people." Unquote. The wisdom and insights contained in the world's #1 bestseller is not so old-fashioned after all. On another topic, we know that, quote, "getting habitually angry is like taking a small dose of some slow-acting poison, arsenic for example, every day for the rest of your life." The Bible reminds us not to be so easily angered. For example, Proverbs 14:29, "He who is slow to wrath has great understanding." The Bible also teaches about the health benefits of having a positive attitude. For example, Proverbs 17 verse 22, "A merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones." Many scientific studies prove that a cheerful and an optimistic outlook promotes better health. Number 4, proof from biblical prophecy or history written in advance. King Cyrus of Persia, also called Cyrus the Great, ascended to the throne in 559 BC. In 538 BC, he made a decree granting the Jewish exiles taken captive by the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II in 586 BC to return to their homeland and rebuild Jerusalem and its temple. The interesting thing to note is that about 150 years before King Cyrus came into the throne, God had already prophesied through Isaiah that he would use a ruler named Cyrus. Isaiah 44 verse 28. Yahweh says of Cyrus,